I am starting kind of a series of what I like to talk about, like growing and improving yourself, especially me, that I've actually had so many bad things in my life, bad characteristics, like a lot. And I'm not saying I've gotten rid of all of them, I'm working on it. Looking back, like, oh my gosh, like I lived the life of a victim to like level max. I don't even know what level that is, but I lived that. And in so many ways, like I blamed everyone for everything. I always felt like things never went my way. And then I would basically put the least effort into things and expect like the best results in the world, because I've always lived a life of loopholes, and loopholes aren't always going to work in your whole life, especially if you're trying to grow as a person, if you're trying to grow in this and that, in every little aspect that you could think of. It does not work. And it doesn't work if you don't take responsibility. And if it doesn't work if you live in a victim mentality. Like, the reality is life is unfair. Life, there's always going to be obstacles that you're going to have to tackle through. No matter, you could put the perfect day in front of your eyes and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. You're going to wish that, obviously you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like I already know everything's going to go well. And then something happens and it's like the end of the world. Or it's that person's fault and this and that. And your mentality just automatically goes into like this defense mode. Like, oh my gosh, I need to, like, your world shuts down. And that was me. And I'm not going to lie, it still sometimes is. I'm not going to sit here, oh my gosh, it never happens to me anymore. I'm like the perfect person in the world. No, I still fall into my dumb routines of being the victim. But that's because my brain was so wired into being a victim, I didn't even know I was living as a victim of my own life. Literally never in my head, it didn't cross. Like, I thought I was right. And now, like, looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's because you get so stuck in your own ways that it's like, oh fuck, I thought I was right. But no, like I was wrong, and I was acting like a victim, blaming everyone, expecting the best results in the world. Like, there's so many things that just, it didn't make sense. Like, for example, a lot of my in a lot of my relationships, I was always a victim and I always acted like that. Any little thing, like, let's say if I had a boyfriend right now, right? Well, with my ex, let's just talk about a situation with my ex. I don't know, maybe he got bothered because he didn't like how I talked to him, right? And he didn't think that that was right, that I didn't have to react that way, right? And I automatically would snap and be like, oh my gosh, like, it's you. Like, why are you acting like this? And why are you bringing this up and this and that? And I would just snap and be like, oh my gosh, it's you and not me. And oh my gosh, why are you always nitpicking me? And it's like, he's literally bringing up something that's bothering him. And you're over here acting like you're the victim when he's literally talking to you. And it was like, oh my gosh. And that's same with like business. Me being a business owner, when things would go wrong, I would just shut down. Oh my gosh, like the pressure was too much and I still do it sometimes. I wouldn't go automatically into like, okay, how are we going to resolve this? I would go into, oh my gosh, just because whose fault was it? Like who did it and this and that? Oh my gosh, and this and that. And it's like, calm down. We're a fucking team. Let's resolve it and move the fuck on, because things are going to happen. And same in everything aspect and everything being even when you're an actual victim of something, you should not stay into that mentality. And the way that you need to stop being a victim is honestly first fucking realizing it. Like, I'm sorry, but if you don't realize that you're the problem, you're never gonna resolve the problem. Because the only way you can move to improvement is you telling yourself and looking in the mirror, and I'm like, wait a minute, what if I'm the problem? And then whatever, go online and look it up and be like, okay, how does a victim act? And then you're going to automatically see everything. And you're going to automatically see it's people that don't take responsibility for their actions. Someone that pities themselves over everything. Like, for example, oh my gosh, poor me. I'm poor and I'm broke and I can't do this and that. Bitch, well then fucking do something about it. It's just basically living in a negative. I'm not saying that it's not bad to think negative things here and there. But if you're excessively always think about the negative, then I don't know what else to tell you. But the biggest thing is to take responsibility for yourself, for everything that you do, for things that you don't do. Like, if, let's say you want to have your own business and you're like, well, I don't have the money, so I'm never going to open a business. That's not true. There's a lot of businesses that you do not need a lot of capital to build a business. Okay, and now let's say you're gonna be like, okay, well, the business that I want to open needs a lot of capital. Find another way. Either, okay, go find investors then, or work your job and work an extra job to make enough money to freaking save that money. That way you could use your own capital. Like, there's so many things you could do. Get a loan if you need to, but go for it. Like, stop telling yourself, oh my gosh, I can't do it because of this or because of that. Oh my gosh, I'm such a victim of my own life and I don't know why I couldn't have this or more of that. Or I want to have all this and I can't have it because this. No, you stop giving yourself the excuses and the fucking victim mentality that I give myself, by the way. But just stop. Like, what are you gonna get from that? Nothing. You're not trying to figure out how to move to the next step. You're not trying to figure out how to get to where you want to get. No, you're just telling yourself, oh, poor me. I don't know. I don't have this. I don't have that. Oh, I'm gonna just sit my ass down and hope and pray for the best. Did that sound right? Do you see all the excuses that you're giving yourself? Like, are you serious? I really think about it. And same thing with the relationship. Oh my gosh, it's just him. Like, let's say you're in a healthy relationship, right? Because if you're in a bad relationship, I get it. But no, there's relationships which us as women tarnish because we're such in our own victim mentality and we're like, oh my gosh, it's him. It's because he always wants to tell me about this and that. Okay, he's trying to communicate and tell you that you're the problem too. I'm not saying he's not the problem, but if you're the problem too, then own up to it. If you messed up, own up to it. It's not that hard. It's really not. Now, if you're like, no, but I'm sure it's him. It's always him. Again, go online and look it up and see what you're doing wrong because you're just over here victimizing yourself. And poor him, he's just like, oh my gosh, like, maybe it is me. And then it's like, bitch, it is you too. It is. Like, I'm sorry, but it is. He's not the only issue. If you're also causing issues, if you're not over here trying to better yourself and you're just dismissing everything that he's saying, then you're just still victimizing yourself. You can't be blaming a man if he's trying to communicate and trying to do stuff to try to understand you and you're just automatically blaming, no, it's not me. Sit down and really reflect. Is it you? Is he lying? Maybe it is you. Like, you really need to sit down and if you have to look up stuff, look it up. Fuck, is it really me or is it just him? Normally it's both, but if you're also the issue, you're not doing anything to better that. And you need to step aside and understand that. Because maybe it's your victim mentality that is not letting you grow in your relationship. And that goes with anything. And same with work. Like, let's say, there's so many scenarios I could tell you, but same with work. Like, let's say you're working and you kind of hate it because you don't like the work, what you're doing. Like, let's say you don't like the paperwork of it. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, I really hate it here. And you don't do nothing about it. You don't try to go look for another job. Or you don't even put the effort into the job in order to get promoted. And you're just there sitting and giving yourself a pity talk. Like, are you freaking for real? There's so many jobs out there, okay? And if you're not skilled, then go find a skill and make yourself worthy enough to make more money. Because if you're just, oh, like, poor me. Like, I only know how to, I don't know, use the calculator. Well, okay, well, what skills are you going to prove to an employer that you should employ you? And that's what I mean. Like, you need to take charge of everything. Take responsibility, take control. Know that you are in control of your life because you literally are in control of your life. Sure, there's going to be things in your environment that you cannot control, but you can control what you're going to do. What are you going to do? When problems arise and you have no control, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit and cry and be like, oh no, poor me, I cannot take it and I'm just going to, it's done here. Like, I'm quitting. Is that what you're going to do? Like, seriously? You're just gonna pity yourself and cry and go to sleep? Because I've done that. I did that my whole freaking life, and tell me where it got me. Almost nowhere. Like, literally nowhere. I cannot stress that enough. It's gonna take you nowhere. Instead, look for better things. I'm not saying that life is not full of negative things, because it is. It is unfortunate. But you can be fortunate enough to look at the positive, or you can be more fortunate to figure out problems, figure out a solution out of a problem, to move forward, to do what you need to do. For example, like, and there's so many things that you can do. Like, for example, because I have not spoken about what you can do. For one, you're gonna have to rewire your brain. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to. And it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, like today I'm gonna stop being the victim. No, you're gonna keep falling into your victim mentality, and you're gonna have to realize, oh shoot, I did it again, and correct it. Oh shoot, I did it again, correct it. Okay? And the only way you can combat that is by really thinking and focusing and really sitting behind yourself and being like, watching yourself almost like if you were a movie. Like, let's say in a scenario where you were acting like a victim with your brother or your mom, right? You gotta step out of your own body almost. Look at yourself like if you were looking at a TV and press play. Do not act on those emotions. Do not feel what the hell you felt in that moment. Just look and analyze. Look and analyze what you did and really analyze and tell yourself, was that really wrong of me? Was I acting like a victim at that moment? Oh, okay, I did. Okay, I see what I did. I need to stop. And at that moment, let's say you got into a fight with your mom or your brother or whatever, or who gives a fuck, whoever. You understood it now, whatever, you're not even talking to them. Okay, go and say, you know what, I'm sorry for this and that. And that's taking accountability for what you did. Now, you're not over here trying to do whatever, you're not going to try and make someone take accountability for what they did. You need to take accountability for what you did. And hopefully they'll take accountability too. But here, we're trying to better you, not better them. Because the focus is about you only, and that's it. Anyways, it's just gonna be a cycle, and eventually your brain will be rewired in a better way, in a less victim mentality. And you will be out of that victim life. And there's so many other things. For one, the number one thing that has helped me is reading books, like things that better me. Like one of the best books that I've read, I'm barely on another book right now, but the number one book that I read, like this was the very first book that I read. Let me see. It's 13 Things That Strong People Don't Do. Something like that. Let me see. I'm going to put it on here in the screen, but let me look up the 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. Oh my God. Has that book helped me get out of this victim mentality, like to level extreme. When I read this book, I saw myself completely all over it in a negative way. And I was like, okay, then I need to learn from that. And that's one book. One book that I'm reading right now that is helping me, oh my gosh, so much. And it just lets you see things in a very different perspective and things like that. It's called Clear Thinking, which I'm also going to post right here. Those two books have helped me with getting out of my victim mentality, along with other things, but so much. Another thing that I like to do in order to get out of that victim mentality is telling myself literally 3 to 5 things in the morning or whenever I'm feeling some type of way, what I'm grateful for, like the things that I already have, the things that I'm here for. Because sometimes it's so easy to fall into that mentality of like, why have I not reached this goal yet? Or fuck, like, I want to get here already. Like, oh my gosh, I'm trying so hard. In reality, you're fucking not, by the way. But, oh my gosh, and this. And then you don't even realize where you've gotten. Like, maybe the goal was, like, for example, for me, my goal for YouTube was already to be at 1 million since a long time ago. And that's me being fucking for real. But have I really put all the freaking effort in the whole wide world? No, I have not. And then that's when I start realizing, okay, for one, I need to put more effort. But for two, I start looking at the things that, you know what, like my TikTok has been doing good. And that's probably the one I put more effort into, by the way. On YouTube, like, okay, I'm growing slowly. I remember the day that I wasn't even getting views, where I was not even getting comments. Now that I think back, there was a time that I was not growing. Like, now I'm growing. It may not be fast, but I'm growing, and who cares? Like, there's no need for me to be in that pittiness. Oh my gosh, like, poor me. Like, no, like, you see, and seeing that greatness makes me keep moving forward. And makes me not live in that victim life. And that's what you have to do. Like, if you tell yourself 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. Like, and same with everyone around me. Like, the reason why I've grown is because of the people that is around me. And that is going to be another thing. If you surround yourself with people that live a victim mentality, you're only going to be more of a victim. So that's another thing. Like, get out of people that live a victim mentality. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, there's people in my family that I love with my whole life, and they're victims of their own lives. And I had to realize, like, okay, like, I love you and I'm still gonna talk to you, but maybe that's not gonna be someone I'm gonna surround myself with. Like, I'm freaking sorry, but I do not want to be you. And it sucks, and I hope the person that I'm talking about does not see this video, but it's the freaking reality. Like, I do not want to be around someone that is gonna give me the same negative energy that I'm already living with. Like, it is so true. The people you surround with yourself with is the definition of who you are gonna be. So if you're right next to a victim mentality person and another one, let's say 4, well, there you go, and you're trying to be positive, you're not gonna go anywhere. And I'm not saying you have to cut off these people, but you need to surround yourself with people that do not have that victim mentality, that will push you harder and push you mentally to be better and to be less of a victim. Me trying to think of something, but there's people out there that will push you to be better. And those are the people you want to be around with. Stop being the victim of your life. It's not hard. It's harder than it's easier than you think. The first step is just taking accountability. Bitch, I'm trying to end this cute and it ain't ending cute, but the first step is just taking accountability. Take accountability.